What is going on, guys? Jaycraft here. I apologize about some of the delays and issues we are having with tonight's stream. It's very much so unlike me, but something about moving the entire set from here to Las Vegas and then back again has proven to be a bit more complicated than I had expected. So we're getting all the equipment resettled, and you'll notice our on-screen chat, which is normally there, is not there right now, and I cannot fix that until after the countdown timer is done. But those of you watching from home, you'll be able to see the chat up on top of the screen. And I have a whole bunch of stuff that we got to talk about today. But before we go any further, I want to give a big thank you to Lisa C. I got the email from Patreon. I was going to give you the shout out at the top of the show, but I see you're in the comments right now. She is our newest patron, and I'll probably give you a shout out again during the show. She says, "Evening Jay, just joined your Patreon tonight as you had the best info on eBay Open that I have found. Thank you so very much for that. We worked very, very hard to make sure that the information was top notch. And tonight we're going to be going a little bit deeper on some of the things that we talked about during eBay Open and be able to take a little bit more robust questions. You know, we were able to reach out to some really, really amazing contacts and be able to get a little bit more color on certain things. So I'm very, very excited about that. But a huge thank you to you for helping us get a little bit closer to some of our big goals regarding what we want to do with this channel. But tonight's show should be a good one. Let me say hello to everyone else we see out here in the audience tonight as well. We have Landshark Picker. Hello, hello. Tracy Thrifsit. FGS. Pleasure as always. Thanks for dropping on in. Who else we got in here today? Future Fortunes. Pleasure as always. Mr. Swank. Pleasure to have you here. Tamara Agostino. Howdy y'all, and welcome back. Thank you. Salutations. I appreciate the warm welcome. Dixie and Ding. Good evening, Jay and everyone. Good evening to you as well. So being late is a $35 charge. Did you know if you lost your pass during eBay Open, it was a $275 charge? Yeah. Cost. Hello to Pam. Check my sound. What's going on with my sound, Pam? I just got reset here in the studio, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if things are high. I don't know if things are low. I know my visuals look like garbage right now. I need to get some things squared up. There's just certain things that I couldn't fix while I was doing my setup. I just simply wouldn't be able to see until we were rocking and rolling. So my lights are a little off. Just little things. We're gonna have to work with some things. So let me see if we switch this over. See how that looks. Does that look a little bit better? Does that look a little more natural for you guys? If you haven't done so yet, guys, slap that like button. I know there's a bunch of new people who are going to be in here this evening. Thank you so much to all of you for taking the time to be here. Guys, we got roll call on my goods. I've got to get some chat. Oh, lucky me. We got the chapstick. Guys, we're going to have a heck of a show tonight. We have a lot of information to cover. Music is too high over your voice. Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead and bring that down a little bit. Definitely don't want that too high. The Ritas are slowly taking over. I didn't know that you could get margaritas inside of a wine glass. I thought that must be some new development. Would Indiana meetup be in North or South Indiana? I wouldn't know. But good luck to you guys. How's that music level for us, Pam? Are we doing a little bit better? Donna, thank you so much for dropping in as well. Happy to have you. I'm going to get your package put together and sent on out. Those of you who are here for our giveaway, I think we did a week or 2 weeks ago. Donna had given a very generous donation, and she ended up getting like 3rd place, but the 2nd place person decided to go ahead and pass it on up just to be a good person. So we're going to box that up and send it on out. We have another giveaway that we're doing here shortly as well with one of our new channel sponsors, which we'll be talking about here in a few. I'm just hoping nothing else is broken once we get the show started. I'm going to be hammering through a lot of stuff. I'm just going to say it one more time. Make sure you have a pen and paper ready, or you bookmark this and you plan to come back and watch it again. We are going to be going through a lot of stuff tonight. A lot. And we will be continuing the videos on it too. There'll be more videos, more training style videos coming up to basically get you in the know. Anyone that you know that has been looking for information regarding eBay Open. You won't find more of it than what you'll find here. Just direct them on over. We'll be happy to take care of them. And apologies, guys. We are running 8 minutes late today. Basically ended up happening was I tried to start the stream and I was being told by YouTube that we had the wrong resolution settings, which was correct. We were displaying in 720p and our stream was set up for 1080, so we ended up getting a little bit of kickback, and I thought I could end the stream on YouTube and then just restart it through the same event. It wouldn't allow me to do that. Little learning lesson. I've learned I've got to end it within my software and then restart it through the software. What are you going to do? Hope everyone had a wonderful week as well. Tell me, did you find anything fantastic? Any items that really got your attention? We have so much to talk about tonight. I spent probably 2.5 hours writing notes today. It was absurd. Hello, Jay. Hit the like button, everyone. Hello to you as well, Mindy. I have you on my project list for tomorrow to get all that stuff you sent me unpacked. Today, gosh, I sat down in front of this computer at noon and I haven't really gotten up and done anything else since. Guys, we have a new sponsor as well. If you want to check them out before the start of the show, we got 6 minutes. Check the description. It's going to be the 360 ID tag. They're sponsoring this episode of Reseller Roundup as well, and you can go check them out. Pretty cool brand if you're somebody who enjoys selling clothes and you're looking for something to help protect your high value clothing purchases. Links at the top of the description, but we'll be talking about them probably a little bit over an hour from right now. Hello to you, Tammy. How are you this evening? Landshark says, Jay, enjoyed your conversation with Steve Reichen. I was absolutely, I was amazed. The guy's a fantastic guy. You know, I feel for him that anyone who knocks his name, because I know me and him are kind of cut from that same cloth where we do get a lot of heat online, and it oftentimes feels unwarranted. And he said something to me at dinner, and that really meant a lot to me. He's like, you're one of the few people that's actually willing to speak up and say something. And the fact that he recognized that of all people was of great significance to me. But he's a stand-up guy. If you haven't subscribed to his channel yet, please go check him out. He's a stand-up person. That says, did you and Steve R have a good dinner? We had an insane dinner. I don't know if I have the receipt on me. Yeah, I do have the receipt on me, for those of you who are curious what it came out to. And I want to preface, this wasn't my money. Sean Herrick of Prairie Grit is sponsoring a video with Steve, and he paid for the dinner. But this is what it came out to. And that was before the tip. So it was a little bit pricey for the three of us to go eat. We ended up going to Lupo because we didn't have appropriate reservations for Hell's Kitchen. But I'll be making a reservation middle of this year to be able to get that set up. Susan, hey Mindy, quick, when did Tupperware introduce rose mauve colored pieces? It's a good question. I don't even think I could have answered that one. Sorry about that, guys. We want pics of dinner. Oh, I got pictures. Yeah, I can show you. We have a whole bunch of content that's going into the vlog. I took, somewhere in the area of like 300 photos. Let's see what I got. I'm missing some videos. No. Oh, okay, there we go. It was a massive, absolutely massive meal. So there's a little preview of the vlog that'll be coming. We tons of content was recorded. I have over 500 pieces of media to sort out, We also captured every single slide at every one of the key presentations, and I took the laborious process. It took almost 6 hours to clean those slides up because the angle that I was seated at, I just wasn't thinking clearly. I sat far off to the side and I was taking these pictures, so every single picture had this weird aspect ratio, so I had to proportionally crop it, recolor it, clean it, and then save it. So we have somewhere in the area of about 80 slides. We're not going through them tonight. That's just simply not happening. It's way too much information to go through. But we are going to be putting together a video, probably coming out midweek, where we're going to be covering some of the finer details if we gloss over them tonight. And how are you doing tonight, Susan? I haven't seen you in too long. You got to come down this week. I want to go back to Woolworths and putz around. I really want to be lazy this next week. I have probably about 150 items to list, but also I really need to get some R&R in. And then I think next week I'm going to take a little vacation, maybe week after next, try and head out to the coast and really get some downtime. Two minutes until we start. We get to listen to my new favorite jam. For those of you who don't know, we have some custom music coming to the channel. I heard one of the pieces that was completed today. I gave it a listen. It's pretty decent. It's not mind-blowing, but it's kind of on the right track with what we're looking to make happen here. But I gave him this piece, this song that you're listening to right now. I gave it to him as a piece of inspiration for the type of music that I want to have made for the show. One minute, guys, and we're going to be covering a lot of information. Again, make sure you get your pen and paper ready. Hello, and thank you to all the new people that are here tonight as well. And, before I forget, Lisa C., our newest patron, could you please do us a favor and reach out to me on Facebook, in our Facebook group. Just look for JCraft within the Bolorama Facebook group and contact me sometime this evening, and I'll get you added into our group chat so you can start benefiting with all those perks and getting to get to know everyone and having a great time. But we can't do anything until we have you on Facebook. So I appreciate you dropping into the show this evening as well. And then Mindy, just go ahead and get ready to receive her, and we'll get her set up on page 2 as well. Thank you so much, Lisa. Guys, let's do this. We're going to have a heck of a show tonight. Who's ready to get rocking and rolling? Mindy Coy says, let's rock this house. Woohoo, welcome new patron. Dang right. Let's get going. Mic check, mic check. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. I take it that you guys can hear me now. I heard what you're saying. You're saying that there was no sound. Let's try this one more time. What is going on, guys? This is JCraft with the Facebook group Bolorama Pickers Lounge, and I'm coming at you live again from beautiful Bakersfield, California. We're back We're back from Vegas. We went to eBay Open 2019, and I'm here to give you all of the details that you need to know about the biggest eBay event of the year. Who's telling me I'm fuzzy now? What did I do? I know I'm not fuzzy. Come on. So we had a huge week this week, and if you weren't following us on YouTube, you missed out on some of the most important info for eBay coming into the next year. There was tons of changes that you need to be known, or you need to know about and be a part of moving forward. Now, I said this earlier, okay? Sounds great, but the video is really bad, super fuzzy. Guys, I'm telling you, that's going to be on your end right there. Make sure you have your resolution set correctly. We're here streaming at 1080p resolution. If your computer can't handle 1080, it might downgrade it. But if you need to, just click refresh and that should take care of you. But as I was saying, we had some amazing time out at eBay Open in Las Vegas this year, met with some amazing creators, met with some amazing talent within the eBay staff, and got to rub shoulders with people that are going to be able to do huge things for our channel moving forward and be able to grant us access to some of the information that we need. Guys, the music, come on now. I'm trying my best with you here. Let me bring this down. I like my music loud personally, guys. We can do a third shoot if we need to. Music too loud. I guess I'm trying here. I'm trying so hard. So, if you're just jumping in right now, the music always seems to drown you out. So, I'll give you the TLDR on what I just said. We went to eBay Open, that is, and we had an absolutely fantastic time. We learned a whole lot of stuff while we're there. Today, we're going to be covering the big Devin Wenig presentation, the keynote presentation that started the entire event off, and it started it off with quite a bang. On top of that, we had some other talent come in from the eBay staff, Senior VP of Communications and Relations. We had some great people come on and say some amazing things that we needed to hear. Before we get going into that, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping because I feel that stuff's always important here. Let me bump this up really quick. I'm seated far too low. I hope that you guys can hear me and you guys can see me, and I want to say thank you to everyone who's taken the time to be here tonight. If you didn't watch this week's shows, you're gonna need to watch them. We had a sit down with the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Reichen with Reichen Profits, okay, or Reichen, depending on how you want to pronounce it. This guy is an absolute beast on YouTube, and we had a very intimate one-on-one interview with each other, very motivational, very educational. I strongly suggest you go back and check that out. We also had Jeannie, who won the Shine Award this year. She got third place. She got the Platinum Prize, $10,000 for her charity, as well as a host of other great features. And we had to sit down with her, as well as two of her business associates. Absolute blast. I think we were on air for about an hour. It was a great little Q&A. And if you enjoy me and you enjoy some interview-style format stuff, I recommend you go back and watch that. And then we also did two big updates regarding eBay Open, one of which we're going to be doing a retelling of today, but with a little bit extra color splashed on in there. Now, before we get too far into it, I want to let you know, grab a pen and paper. There's going to be a lot of information coming at you. 2, if I say something you don't understand, please ask in the comments. There's a lot of information to get out here today, and I may use some verbiage, acronyms, certain types of phrases that you may not follow, but don't be afraid to ask, okay? This channel's for everyone. I don't care if you started eBay last week or if you've been selling for 10 years. You know, I just learned today through a comment that there's some people who have a mega presence online. We're talking 20,000 plus followers who still don't know that you can't use priority mailboxes for first class. So I don't care how long you've been doing eBay, there's always room to learn something new. And even if you aren't an eBay seller, this is going to be some very valuable information just to understand about the e-commerce market. So make sure you got your pen and paper. Don't be afraid to ask questions if there's something that you don't understand. And as always, you can always replay this video if you need to. Again, I know we've talked about it during the pre-roll, but I also want to give an extra special thank you to our newest patron, Lisa C. I got your email right before the top of the hour. Don't forget to reach out to us on Facebook, and we'll be happy to get you set up with all the perks. And those of you who don't know, here, let me switch on over to our whatchamahoo's. Now, our chat may be busted. Let me see if I can fix it. Nope. And there we go. So we had some issues with chat earlier. Now, you notice we changed our ticker up here, guys. This is to reflect the fact that we're not raising money for eBay Open anymore. We're just letting people know if they'd like to donate to the cause during the show, they can. Each episode of the Reseller Roundup costs a little over $500, not to count the amount of lost revenue, because it takes about 20 hours to put together a high-quality production, and I value my time fairly. So if you'd like to help out during the show, you're welcome to. And then also you can always become a patron. Here's our Patreon thank you card up here in the corner. Extra special thank you to Pam, Matthew, Ashley, Anna and Joe, Ali, Lee James, Brandy, and I think that says Rob. Yes, the one and only Rob. I got a tiny screen here that I've got to work with on my end. But we'd like to say thank you to all of our patrons who make this possible, guys. And if you didn't know, we're going to be talking a little bit later about some additional patron perks. If you're curious what it is, just check the link out. But I know why you're here tonight, and I don't want to drone on too long. You're here to learn a little bit more about eBay Open and exactly what's going on with a lot of the changes. Now, I know not all of you, it would be great if my slide would actually roll through. Like I said, we moved the studio from, hold on, sorry guys. We moved the studio from Vegas back here to Bakersfield, so some of the things that we are expecting to work just simply aren't going to be working right. So now that slide up in the corner talks about some of the key points with the presentation. I must stress this. Get a pen and paper if you aren't ready for this, okay? I'm going to be taking a 3-hour presentation and doing my best to condense it down to 1 hour. Odds are I may run longer. Please do not be afraid to ask questions, okay? Mics sound much better now. Perfect. Thank you for that, Landshark. And check out Landshark if you haven't yet. I hear he still makes YouTube videos. Nah, he's a great guy. Real friendly person. Quality content. I appreciate the effort. And we're going to talk about that here a little bit later, too. A lot of comments regarding that at eBay Open this year. Presentation started off in grand fashion as Devin Wenig stepped onto the main floor with a roaring applause from the crowd. Everyone gave him the benefit of the doubt that this presentation was going to be a big one, and I'll tell you, for the first time ever, I looked at Devin Wenig and said, man, this guy's actually a CEO. He actually gets it. Now, does that give him a free pass? Heck no. I still think that he's overpaid for exactly what he's doing. I don't think he should be getting $16 million a year representing a company like eBay. I think an appropriate salary would probably be somewhere in the 6 to 8 range. But if he can manage to work with some of the partners, you know, Citibank and Elliott Management and a couple of the others to get eBay on track for where it needs to be, then I'm all for it. The presentation as a whole had a bunch of key factors behind it, and one of them was not only trimming the fat and removing some of the excess fluff, but finding extra ways to make things more efficient. We're not just talking about reducing friction on the customer side of things, we're talking about reducing friction for the seller as well. And this is the first time I think in recorded history, I can step back and say, man, I really feel like eBay cares about the seller. I think eBay is a company that does care about the seller. And if you're sitting back and you're saying, man, Jay, that's a little bit crazy that you feel that way. I remember how you were before you left for eBay Open. Some of the details of the things I'm going to talk to you about today are going to be rather eye-opening for you. So the big emphasis at the beginning of the presentation was on how eBay was a human company. And I've never heard this type of phrasing being used before, but it seems that eBay is making a big pivot away from working with brands predominantly and starting to say, okay, these third-party sellers are really what we're going to have to bank on, and we're going to expand upon that a little bit later. But phrases like economic democracy and talking about how this was a human brand and how this brand had the ability to change lives. It's a life-changing brand. And it's a very, very smart thing for them to do this. And we talked before in the past, and I said, hey, what is eBay's identity? What is eBay's brand identity? They don't have one. Historically, they were an auction company. If you look at Amazon, Amazon's a company that's known for being a first-party new item fast shipping vendor. These companies have, eBay had identity, but it lost it through the evolution of the brand. They went in too many directions. eBay is now finally making the play and saying, we are a human brand. We are concerned about making sure that the seller is happy and that the buyer is happy as well. So with that in mind, we saw a host of enhancements coming to seller protection, which is one of the biggest things that the platform suffered from. If you talk to anyone, even on the buyer end of things, you'll hear phrases like, I used to use eBay, but I just got tired of being scammed. Or I would sell something on eBay and then the person would end up keeping the item and the money, and it would, I would end up with nothing. eBay has put in a host of new things to try and make it more difficult for fraudulent buyers to disrupt the platform. Because in all honesty, if we can reduce the amount of time that we have to spend dealing with nonsense, what do we end up doing? We spend more time working and finding great items, getting them listed online, and getting to work with the customers that do appreciate the platform and that are trying to bring more value to the platform. So when we talk about seller protections, they did a bunch of small things that equal a large result. The first one being is when a customer opens up a return coming in the future, may be available very, very soon. But when you open up a return, you have your host of options that you can select for the reason why you're returning an item. Well, eBay realized that people were abusing this, okay? And more often than not, they would select the option that would allow them to get the free shipping back, even if it didn't qualify. Because people are cheap and people are horrible, and they would rather avoid a $3.50 first class shipping charge and stick you with the defect on your account rather than own their accountability for the problem with the item that was clearly their fault. So eBay said, hey, we realize that this is something that's happening. So now they've increased the number of reasons why somebody can actually leave or actually open a return. Instead of being 4 or 5 reasons, now it's closer to 10 reasons. Kind of like on Amazon, you have a whole variety of reasons. And this is good. This means that with more buckets, it gives us more leverage to be able to defend our position as sellers. On top of that, the ones that would result in a SNAD or an INAD being an item not as described reason for a return, they took that one, and instead of having it be at the top, you know what they did? They moved it all the way down to the bottom. And not just the bottom, now you see 5 options on top, and you actually have to click on something that says show more. And then boom, a second fold opens up, and then there's your INAD and SNADs down at the very bottom of that list. And here's the best part of all is that once somebody selects the reason, okay, it jumps to the next screen and it'll tell them you have to pay for the return shipping on this item, but here's the refund amount you'll get if the item is in great condition. And that's going to be for about the first 7. But here's the thing. The next 2, the bottom ones, the very, very bottom ones, are the ones where it'll say the buyer pays for the return shipping. But what they did to make this feature even better is they made it so that once somebody selects that option, they can no longer go back to the previous screen. So if they select the option, they get to the next screen, it says you have to pay for the shipping, you're responsible for this, and maybe we'll even see restocking fees coming back, where we'll be able to bundle that in as well. They're going to pin it on that person. They can no longer go back. If they want to change their mind and they don't want to return the item, hey, that's flipping great. You go ahead and keep that bad boy. I'm happy to see that a $3.50 return cost, or heaven forbid you have a heavy item at $10, $15, $20 return cost is the reason that they're not going to be able to return it. I wonder if you could reduce your return rate by selecting prohibitively expensive shipping options and then using a third-party shipping carrier. Imagine for a second you list your item and you mark it as 10 pounds and you mark it as priority 2 to 3 day delivery, and then you use a company like Pirate Ship and you fire out a first class label on the item, and then when they go through to open a return, it's going to show a prohibitively high return cost. Something to think about. So, like I said, they're being very, very smart, very, very procedural about what they're doing and where they've seen abuse happen in the past. And they say, hey, we don't have to change the entire darn model here. We just have to change how people are abusing our existing system. I think it's great. Hello, T. Red Neckerson, Resale. And Tracy, yes, we have to keep everything PG here on the chat, okay? And we are all adults, but we are one of the few family-friendly branded channels, and allows us to get premium advertisements on our content and allows us to get great sponsors. So we're always happy to have you, but we got to keep the content clean. Welcome to DM me later and use whatever language you like, but on air we got to keep it tidy. So this new type of procedure is going to be great, and on top of that, they've done and made additional steps to be able to stop the flow of bad accounts coming to eBay. So firstly, we've always had this issue with being able to stop communication with specific trouble buyers. And now they're going to be setting it up so that you're going to be able to stop communication. So if you just don't want to hear from somebody, you're simply not going to have to, because using the block feature on eBay would be able to give you the power to block a transaction, but being able to block that communication is something that we simply haven't had access to. eBay has historically in the past said that your ability to communicate with somebody will eventually fall off once the transaction is complete or once a certain period of time has occurred, but I've simply found that to be untrue. Let's keep it friendly in the chat, guys. Let's focus on what we got going on here. So with that, Okay, they're making it so that you're going to be able to do that, and then they're also imposing harder restrictions on trouble buyers. So we're talking about things like being able to more quickly suspend people, being able to more quickly report people, and kind of in a community style way where if enough people report somebody, it can actually have impact on their account, and then going as far as to just being able to full on ban people off the platform when they realize that they're being trouble people. Before we even get to that step though, people are, or certain buyers who are causing problems are going to get to a point where they're not going to be able to leave feedback anymore. The option simply isn't going to be there for them. And then furthermore, they're not even going to be able to open return requests. So if we have people that are habitually opening up return requests, they're going to take that power away from them. They're saying, we're just not going to let you do it anymore. You're the one with the problem, not eBay, not the seller. So it's going to be fantastic. Guys, let's pause for just one moment. We got a $20 super chat from Donna. Thank you so very much. You know, you can leave a little message with your super chat. You know, I always feel weird when I got nothing to read with them because it's just different. Let's give her a little thank you. Thank you to you, Donna. I truly appreciate you. So darn sweet of you. Thank you for the $20 super chat. You know, we're still trying to make the money that we spent on eBay Open. We actually didn't break even, and partly in part to the probably $1,000+ we spent on equipment, but all the equipment's going to go towards next year. So here's some of the extra enhancements that we're looking at regarding eBay. And thank you, Donna, for saying that. Here's some of the extra enhancements that we're looking at. Not only are we going to be able to mitigate what's going to be happening with some of these problem buyers on the platform, but they've also introduced a wave of feedback removal. So we're going to see that once these people have been identified as problem buyers, you're going to see negative and neutral feedbacks from these people just magically lift off your account. Now, obviously, when you get one, you can only hope that it's going to be something that's going to be handled right away, but there's no guarantee on that. I don't know why my total in the corner is not updating. It really should. So like I said, we're having all kinds of tech issues because of the move, but we'll get it sorted out by next week. But yeah, so you're going to see feedback automatically getting removed off these accounts moving forward, which is fantastic. Like I said, it's all about reducing the amount of workload that we're going to be looking at on our accounts moving forward. The less time that we have to spend calling in and talking to eBay, the more stuff that we can actually get done. We've also seen huge enhancements coming along the lines of your workflow, your ability to get your items listed online faster in multiple ways. Not only are we looking at what's being coined as MUA, MUAA, which stands for multi-user account access, we're also seeing improvements to the workflow of listings. Whether you're on PC or mobile, you're going to be seeing these improvements coming here soon. I'll have a date for you here in just one second. But what we're seeing now too is we're seeing advancements in the information that eBay is giving us. MUA is going to be available very, very soon. I see that comment over there. But what they're doing is they're giving us a lot more information when it comes to how we should be creating our listings. Now, traditionally, when you make your listing, okay, and you have your item specifics that you're punching in, there's no real color. There's no real understanding of the value of what you're doing. But with the new enhanced features, what we're seeing is, one, you're going to see information from your title actually pop down into your item specifics. And we're going to talk about that more here in a second. But on top of that, you're going to see things like size, color, and style, these traditional type of item specifics. You're going to see how many people for that specific category and or item are searching for those specifics. So it'll say to you, let's say you're listing up a pair of blue jeans and they're 501 Levi's, and it'll say, let us know what type of cut they are. 131,000 people last week searched for specific on cut, boot cut, flare, low, whatever the cut might be on it. 131,000 people search for that. And you might also want to let us know what type of stitch type it is, because 50,000 people were looking for a Joey stitch on their jeans last week. So we're going to get these improved information regarding search, because there's nothing more frustrating than feeling like you're doing something for nothing. And if I can be told directly, like, hey, if you put this information out there, people are more likely to find your item. And if more people find it, what does that mean? More people are likely to buy it. So this is one of the biggest things. We're talking about improvements in information and really providing sellers with tools that we've been begging for a long time to be able to enhance the quality of our listings. On top of that, eBay has been kind of smart about how they did this. No one likes to see traditional progress bars, so they created this lightning bolt, and it has a circle that goes around the lightning bolt. And as you start to fill out your item specifics, your style, size, color, etc., this lightning bolt is going to fill up the way around it. And once that lightning bolt is full, eBay is basically saying, you've pretty much provided us everything that we've asked for. We feel we have enough information to, one, not only ensure that this item is going to show up and be visible on eBay and that customers that are looking for it are going to be able to find it, but two, you've also given us enough information that if we push this across to Google, which we're going to do with your listing, and it's going to get allowed, if we push it across, then it's going to be very searchable over there. It's going to be very compatible over there as well. So one of the big things too that we took away from eBay Open this year is communication between eBay and Google. And that's something that we're going to expand upon big time coming into next week, because simply put, that presentation is going to take about 2 hours. We're going to be talking about title structure, and we're going to be talking about allowed and disallowed listings when it comes to getting your listings to go from eBay to Google. And Google sales are very, very powerful. 40% of my sales every month come through Google. So if you're not utilizing your item specifics and making sure your items are allowed to show up on Google, you could be missing out on a lot of revenue. And I've met many a great sellers in my time who have beautiful looking stores and their sales aren't where they need to be. Your item specifics and your communication between eBay and Google can very much so be the reason why your items simply aren't selling. And I am beyond excited to be able to share some of the deep details that I learned from speaking with the Google CEOs as I start implementing them on my account to boost my sales too. So moving forward, like we said, we were just talking about search volume and enhancements to search. On top of that, we're seeing that eBay is moving forward. They're utilizing heavy AI technology, plus they've gotten very, very smart regarding how search is handled. I'm sorry, we got a question here. Let me make sure we get to this. So does that mean if you don't complete the lightning bolt, you can't list the item? Fantastic question. You are still going to be able to list your item without any interruption, but what eBay is basically saying is saying that if you can provide us with all of the relevant details of this item, we're going to do everything we can to serve it up to everyone. Because at the end of the day, if you're a company like eBay and you have two people who have listings, intrinsically similar photos, intrinsically similar titles, and one person has provided all of the item specifics for that item, and another person has provided 50% of the item specifics, okay? If we can show that this item, the one with more details, is going to be better tailored to the type of consumer that's looking for it, we're going to serve this one right up. With this one, we're not fully sure. We don't know all of the stuff, so it will still appear in search, but it might not get the best placement in search. And this is where we're going into our next section here. And the next section is regarding the AI experience. eBay has gotten very, very smart about this. And I talked with Riken during our interview on his channel regarding how search actually works. Because I've heard people say this in the past, I go on and I'm searching for my own item and I can't find it. Okay, well, odds are you can't find it because you're not meant to find it. Okay, when I search for something on eBay, my search results are going to be different than your search results. Not only because of where I live, but because of this type of stuff that I've bought historically in the past, the type of account that I hold, the average amount of money that I spend when I make a purchase, you're going to see, and I'm a man, okay? So different demographics are going to see different items, and we learned that. The female millennial, which is one of the largest growing markets right now on eBay, as far as new buyers coming to the platform, is booming. Do you think a 24-year-old female from Florida should be seeing the same exact items as a 34-year-old male from California? No. And eBay has learned this about 6 to 12 months ago. They started making the change. They started changing the way that items display based on the user who's coming in to look at them, which is genius. But making sure that you have item specifics is going to allow eBay to better serve your items up to somebody. So let's talk again about that example. Let's just say, instead of saying blue jeans, let's just say jeans, okay? Jeans come in all different colors, white, green, yellow, red. I've seen jeans of every single color. Having your item specific in there can help you out a lot, because maybe somebody isn't looking necessarily for red jeans, but they might be looking for red pants. And if you have that item specific for color as red, you have the opportunity to show up in more searches. And that's basically what eBay is saying. Fill up this lightning bolt and we're going to give you the opportunity to show up in more places. That's what it's about. Okay, so when people start narrowing down their search, you want visibility, but you want the correct visibility. Because if you can show up and be the exact item a customer wants, what is keeping them from buying that item? Absolutely nothing. Let me take a look at these comments here. So enhancing the listing is awesome, but how will it affect search based on eBay's metrics for sellers? If your metric isn't up to par, will it help? Your metrics is something that frankly wasn't spoken on. eBay really wants to ensure right now that the right item is getting in front of the right consumer. I heard no talk regarding Cassini and seller metrics whatsoever. So for the time being, I would say obviously at any given time you want to make sure your account is in good standing, but on top of that, item specifics are going to be key. I kind of dread the idea that I'm going to be going back through my store and correcting all my item specifics moving forward, but I'm also a little bit excited about it because I know it's going to mean increased velocity for me. Let me see if we have any more questions. Well, they also tell you why your lightning bolt isn't complete, or would you have to figure that out? If you fill out all of the recommended item specifics, so what's going to happen now, moving forward, is you're going to have 2 boxes of item specifics, because they realized certain ones don't matter. Okay, customers aren't refining their search based on G10s. It's just not happening. So they said rather than making people have to fill out these item specifics that mean nothing to the consumer, they said we're going to take the most important ones that people are searching for. We're going to put them right at the very top. These are the ones that we recommend that you fill out right here on top. But what we're going to do is once you fill those out, your lightning bolt's going to be complete. Okay. Now, if you can't fill something out, okay, it's suggested that you try to get the information that you need. Now, sometimes gathering UPCs can be tricky, and I get that. But if you have an item that was mass manufactured at any point in time, try and get the UPC if possible. Visit the manufacturer's site, maybe look at somebody else's listing. I talked with eBay directly as far as their placement team was concerned. If there's going to be room in the future for sharing of UPC via eBay's internal catalog. They said something that they're working on, it's something that's on their radar, but it could be as much as a year out. And the problem with that is the fact that the catalog is so darn big and we don't have a community presence to help monitor, enhance, and fix this catalog yet. So once you have that top half filled out, you're pretty much done. But there's going to be an option that's going to say show more. And underneath of it, you're going to see some extra item specifics. Now, they're saying basically these are the ones that are very important. If you want to fill them out, you're certainly welcome to fill them out, but we're not going to ask you to. Can it help? Sure. Okay. But if eBay felt it was that important, it would be in the top half of the fold. I'm helping Jay make money. How? How are you doing that? Are you telling everyone to come over here? What do we got going on? To be honest, at the lightning bolt is not complete, you're not going to sell your item. You will sell your item. Okay? 100% you'll sell your item. I've been listing items on eBay for the last 10 years, 15 years. If you go watch my first iPad training video where I talk about how to list your items, I go straight to the item specific section. And you know what I say? I'm like, in this part, you can just skip right over this. Don't even worry about that. Okay? And I'm not no BS. Even up until last week, I would only fill in the things that I was required to fill in, and I never went back through and I checked them. But moving forward, I will be checking them like crazy. And on our previous iPad training video, there's going to be a little bit more information on that one. But we're going to have to redo it. When this new training platform, when this new listing flow comes out, I will be making a new dedicated training video on that because I feel it's going to be important for everyone to understand how that works. So when we look at this higher or this smarter AI, we're looking at a higher conversion rate, basically saying you help us out by giving us the item specifics. We're going to help you out by serving your items to the customers who are actually looking for them. And because of that, you're going to see an increased conversion. That's what we're basically saying is let's help you help get your items in the hands of consumers. On top of that, they said we want to make this process easier. We understand eBay is a challenging and complicated place. There's way too much going on. So what they've done over the last few months now is they've actually removed over 100 policies from the site, which I am thrilled about. And they said that they're going to be working hard to remove even more policies from the site. It had gotten way too much to handle. The number of questions that I get asked and the amount of information that I had to be able to hold to be able to help people understand what it was like to be a seller online, it was just a bit much. Guys, I know we have a bunch of new people in here right now, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit of a shill. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I strongly recommend you do, as we are not going to be able to get through all of the information this night, but here in the future, we're going to be covering even more. If you haven't done so yet, guys, we have 51 people watching, only 24 likes. I would truly appreciate it if you took 2 seconds to go ahead and slap that button for me. Moving forward, guys, we're talking a little bit more about making everything easier. They said a lot of emphasis on a frictionless buying experience, which, again, I'm a fan of. And I understand managed payments isn't something that anyone really likes the idea of. And from talking with other people, I learned that last year there was a ton of emphasis on managed payments. It seemed like they were really trying to, as I quote-unquote heard from Adam Freites himself, he said, cram it down people's throat. That's what they were really doing. And this year, the emphasis and discussion on managed payment was a little bit more minimal. But what I did see that I did like is I saw an increased workflow, an increased efficiency when it came to being able to help customers with their checkout process. Because the whole idea of it is the quicker we can get somebody to the app, the quicker they can find their item, the specific one that they're looking for, and the faster we can get them out through the checkout, the lower the chance of them changing their mind. Okay? So we want to make sure that the tax isn't going to be a burden for them. We want to make sure that the shipping options are going to be easy for them. We want to make sure that their preferred payment method is there. I noticed some people utilizing Apple Pay, and they were using the fingerprint unlock. So they get to their checkout screen, put their thumb right over it, confirm it, boom, and then the checkout's done. There is no room, there's no time, no rhyme or reason for them to change their mind regarding the transaction. And that's the whole point of managed payments is, can we make it quicker? Can we make it cheaper? And don't get me wrong, I'm still a skeptic regarding it. I'm still a bit of a cynic. And I know once we get to that point where everyone is using managed payments, it's going to be old news by then. It's nothing that we're really going to have to worry about. And when is that happening? That's happening exactly, 362 days? 352 days? Just under a year from right now is when the switch over to managed payments is going to be 100% complete. So it's definitely something you're going to keep your eyes on for. On top of that, when we talk about improved search, when we talk about the friction-free buying experience, they made a ton of enhancements to image search. So if you see something that you want to buy, you see like a lamp or you see a piece of clothing, the image search is working incredibly well right now. So bust out your camera, actually try taking a picture of an item. They've noticed, again, millennials, females, they're really utilizing this feature to convert into the buying experience. And this is why having gorgeous photos is expensive, and we're going to talk about photo enhancements here in the future, or here a little bit later in the show. On top of that, we saw a new feature, which is the drag and drop search, where you're able to grab an image within the search and drag it straight up to the search box and drop it in there and be able to pull up items that are similar to that one, not only by the title, but by the color, by the item specifics, everything like that too. But being able to hone down on that search with things like color, style, shape, size, etc. is really, really valuable. Now, one of the big enhancements that everyone was excited about, the roar of excitement within the room was insane, was on the topic of MUA, M-U-A-A. Get used to hearing this phrase. We're going to be talking about this a lot. If you have been one of those people like myself who's been backed into a corner and said, how am I going to scale my business? Okay, I don't have the time, and frankly, I don't know anyone that I can trust to help me out with what I'm doing. If you've been one of those people, MUA, also known as multi-user account access, is going to be an absolute game changer for you. Before I left for Vegas, Steve Moe, who's another gentleman within the reseller community, reached out to me and asked for my opinion regarding virtual assistants. And I told him, frankly, there's not a clean way to do it right now. And a virtual assistant would be somebody in Malaysia or the Philippines, China, wherever, who would assist you with your listing process on eBay. You might, send them photos of your items, or you send them basics of your items, and then they'll be able to handle your listing on that end. And then you would approve your listings on your end. But the biggest problem with that was the fact that you had to give up account security. You had to give up your login information, which was your email and your password. But now with multi-user account access, you're going to be able to grant authority to another account. So this is huge for me, okay? Because I have so many people who ask me for help with listings, who ask me to look over their stuff. Susan, who's a dear friend of mine, she constantly says, I have these listings, I'm just not sure if they're right. Can you take a peek at them? And I'm always happy to help her. But with this new feature and this new functionality, I can log in to the back end of her account, and I'll be able to do just the minimal amount of stuff. I'll be able to create new drafts, and I'll be able to edit existing drafts. That's huge. So I'll be able to see all of her drafts as well as being able to help create drafts, but I won't be able to make those items active. I'll be able to approve them, look at them, suggest revisions, and then on her end, she'll be able to approve those listings through. And I'll be able to do all of that on my end within my own personal account. So my account would be granted access from her account. And I'll be able to toggle between the two accounts as I would with a normal login. Like if you have multiple emails and if you ever bounce back and forth between them, you're going to get the same experience on eBay. This is a wildly powerful tool coming to the platform. I would pay good money to have access to this tool. It's something that eBay, I believe, is going to be giving us for free. Let me take a look at some of these comments. Pat, reseller, president accounted for, happy to have you. Landshark, that's why we should be using white backgrounds, right? So Landshark, that is a whole nother discussion, white or clear, and we will be getting to that maybe a little bit later, but if not later, then on the next show. Yes, I use image search all the time. Me too. Searches I do so fast. No way I could use someone else to list my items. Some items take hours to list. Great. That is fantastic, actually, because the amount of time and money that you spend listing your own items opposed to paying somebody in the Philippines, which would be about $1 or $2 an hour, you'd be better spent doing other stuff to make yourself money. And I know what you're saying. You're like, that's a horrible thing to pay people $1 or $2 in the Philippines. But the reality is, certain areas of the world, that is considered an extremely high wage based on where they live. So before you knock it, I want you to understand you are creating an opportunity in another country that would otherwise not exist if you weren't a seller coming to their market, giving them an opportunity to work. And we're going to be talking about VA companies more down the line because it's something that I've truly wanted to be able to leverage. But here in America, I simply don't know anyone that I would have given my account information to and said, hey, help me list all these items. Okay. Let me see what other comments we have. I use the image search a lot when sourcing just to pull up the items faster when I can't find the right keywords. That's actually a brilliant idea. Image search gets confused with my stuff. Yeah, Pat, you run some very interesting items. So here's the other great thing about the multi-user account access is the fact that you're going to be able to turn it on and off in real time. So let's say you have somebody, because further down the line, we're going to see more features. That's the thing. Right now, it's just for drafts, but later, they're going to be able to handle your pack and ship for you, which means you can have a remote warehouse that isn't a eBay warehouse. You can have a secondary workstation, maybe have Nexus in another location, have somebody handle all of your pack and ship, or check this out. What if you're a drop shipper? Okay, but rather than having to facilitate the orders that way, you manage the account on your end. You have your company, your shipping company, manage and create your shipping labels through your account and handle the end-to-end from business to consumer. That's exceptionally valuable too, and no one even talked about that here. I'm actually going to take a note for that. Drop shipping. Didn't even think about that until right now. So in the future, we're going to see things like handling shipping, marketing, and messaging come to the multi-user account. Thank you for the dislike, by the way. Could somebody give me an extra like just because of that? I'd appreciate it. So when those new features come, it's going to be important to know the fact that you're going to be able to turn on and turn off that multi-user account access at your will. And it's going to happen in near real time. So let's say you have a company that you're working with. All of a sudden they burn bridges or they do something. You know what? I can't trust this person. Maybe it's an ex-girlfriend. Maybe you broke up with somebody that was helping you with your eBay store and you say, I'm worried about my account. Boom, on your end, you can disable that access immediately. You have the control on your end with what you're doing. It's incredibly powerful. On top of that, we said earlier, managed payments wasn't a big topic of discussion. If you have any questions regarding MUA, please ask them now before I move forward. Yes, that is correct. If you do use the thumbs down, make sure you do it twice. Thank you. Okay, guys. So moving on, we're going to be talking about managed payments, which again, like I said, wasn't a topic of big discussion during eBay Open this year. The reason being is that eBay is still being capped as far as how big they can grow the program, but we did get some interesting specifics. As of right now, they're only allowed to do 5% of their total GMV via managed payments, but coming into next year, stage 2 of the agreement is going to allow them to scale up to 10%. Now, they've already captured some of the top sellers on eBay here domestically, which is another thing that concerns me. Okay, it's not everyday sellers like me and you that they were utilizing for the test of managed payments. They were using some of their highest volume sellers, just based on the quantity of sellers and the volume that they were doing. On top of that, we got information that they're going to be rolling this out to Germany here next. And we've known historically in the past that the European market has acted as somewhat of a test market for things that are coming to America. So it's going to be very interesting to see how regional payment options will work within eBay managed payments moving forward. I'm kind of very curious about that. So we're going to see an increase from 5 to 10% moving onward. And like I said, it's 1 year out. Those of you who don't know, managed payments is what allows buyers to be able to use Apple Pay, Google, PayPal, credit cards, debit cards, gift cards, and more, all within the eBay platform. The whole goal of it is so that you can do all of your business on eBay. I do still find it a little bit weird that I do all of my front end work on eBay, but when it comes to money and payments and stuff to that effect, I have to go to the back end to be able to get that information. I have to go to PayPal to be able to get that information over there. Now, another thing that eBay had mentioned, which I really wasn't expecting them to talk about, was CPP advertising, okay, which is your cost per click advertising. Now, historically, over the last year, we've seen a big push with the promoted listings. Those of you who don't know, it's where you can give up a little bit of revenue in exchange for a bit more velocity, as Devin Wenning himself likes to say it. So you can set your ad rate and you can say, I'm willing to give up 1%, 10%, 15% of my sale. But eBay, what I'm going to ask of you, if I'm going to give you this money, is I'm going to ask that you show my items more often, predominantly on site. I want you to show it to more people. And if you do, and you help me get my items sold, I'm going to give you X percentage of money. Now, we're going to be seeing cost per click advertising come to the market, which operates a bit differently. It says, I'm really going to trust you, eBay, that you're going to do everything in your power to show my item. And I want even better placement than what you're giving to those other people who are paying on the back end. So rather than giving me, box number 4, box number 8, and box number, 12, the ones that they like to use for promoted listings within search. If you haven't seen that, go look an item up. I want box number 1. I want to be the top dog spot on that search, or at least very close to the top. I want to be very competitive. But in exchange, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay you every time you put me there and show me to a customer. Okay, I'm going to pay you regardless if my item sells. I'm going to pay you regardless if somebody, actually clicks through. I'm going to pay you just for the placement of that item, and that's what we're seeing. With the CPP advertising is cost for placement, and I think it's a powerful tool. But I'm going to say this, and I talked with the first-party listing people. I talked with a young lady named Courtney, beautiful woman, exceptionally bright when it came to first-party advertising. And I told her, I'm like, I feel that we're going to have some trouble if the community isn't educated properly. And she said, yes, education is going to be key, because a lot of people haven't owned a business before. And if you've never owned a traditional business, you've never looked at the Pages Manager on Facebook, you've never looked at Google advertising, you've never wandered down that path to take a look at some of this stuff, cost or CPP or cost per placement advertising is very, very common, but it's very easy to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on ineffective advertising if you don't know what you're doing. So unlike promoted listings where you can try it and you essentially lose nothing if you get it wrong, you can lose hundreds of dollars if you do this incorrectly. So I must stress, please do not try this on your own when it comes out. Sit back and wait a little bit. Let seasoned sellers with very mature accounts, or people like myself who have experience with CPP advertising, figure out some of the nuances and how it works, so that way we can better explain it to you, and then you can have more success when you start paying for this type of advertising. Now, this is expected to be on the platform by the end of the year. That's what Devin Wenning himself said, and he also stated this is not for everyone, okay? This might not be for you. But if you're somebody that has a bunch of a specific item, I'm talking to people like Roger here, if you have 50, 100, 500 of a specific type of item, and you can benefit from an increased placement and increased velocity because you have the quantity to back up that listing, you're not worried about a listing that you're paying for promotion and then it just immediately falls off once one unit sells. If you have the items to justify it, that's where you want to be. You want to be in a position where you can benefit from that paid premium placement. Okay, so any questions regarding CPP? Doesn't look like we have any here. We're going to go ahead and move on, and we're going to talk about, oh yeah, and one side note, promoted listings is still going to remain even after this product comes out. So if you're worried about that, you're going to be fine. Next up, we're seeing huge changes when it comes to delivery enhancement. One of the biggest problems that I had realized, again, we're talking about little things that soak up your time, is having people message me and say, hey, have you shipped my item yet? Hey, do you know where my item is? Hey, is my item actually going to be coming today? Stuff like that, it eats up your time. And I hate to say this, I think eBay's gotten very smart and said, hey, what do we do so that less people call us? Okay, less people call the customer service center. So not only did they roll out a giant update to the customer service self-help program, and they saw a massive reduction, a 20% reduction on actual call-ins because of the improved self-help, and they even admitted, they said the old one was horrible. People hated using it, and people would just click through to call, but they said the new enhanced self-help features reduced call-ins. What can we do to reduce hindrances to the sellers? People actually messaging the sellers with dumb questions, and I hate to say it, it is a dumb question when it's information that a buyer can look up on their own. They can track their own items. So I said, we're going to make a bigger push to make sure that they understand where their item is during the process with the utilization of push notifications. So we're talking about big pushes when it comes to your item's been shipped. Your item's due for delivery today. Your item has arrived at its destination. Similar things that we see to Amazon finally coming across. And this is the thing that we've talked about before. We've said eBay has been in a constant battle with Amazon. They've been fighting for that number one spot, and they've been trying to steal innovations. But the thing is, they've been going after the dumb innovations. Sometimes it's these very, very small things that are going to have the largest impact for you as a seller. And that's what I like about it. A lot of these changes that they're going after are very cheap in essence. Might cost them, $100,000 to $500,000 to implement, but could save sellers like us and eBay as a whole millions of dollars down the line, rather than going after these multi-million-dollar innovations that Amazon has already perfected. So going after the small ones is very, very well. The self-help calling stuff is horrible. Yeah, it gets frustrating. Yeah, no, I understand. But it's getting better. It truly is getting better. On top of that, they announced again, third year in a row, that if you were at eBay Open, that you are guaranteed, as long as you're a reasonable seller, you're going to be getting concierge moving forward. The crowd again erupted. I've never had the pleasure of using concierge. Now, I do have some domestic contacts, which I love being able to reach out to somebody here in America, but the vibe that I get is that concierge is pretty flippin' amazing. It's a direct line of access for customer service. Now, for me, it's not just for me. If you have questions regarding eBay and you need direct answers from somebody at eBay, I'm going to be utilizing concierge to help as many people as I can. Now, obviously, I've got a vested interest in helping the patrons firstly, so we're going to be taking their questions first, but we still have some lingering questions that we didn't get answered at eBay Open this year, primarily regarding things like Vero. So we're going to need a little more transparency from eBay, and we plan on utilizing that. But if you were at eBay Open, congratulations, you're going to be getting concierge. And if you have something that you need help with, that you feel concierge can help, by all means, reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you out. And look at some of these comments. Can't compare apples to oranges. They are not the same. They truly are not. They're in completely different leagues. Does it work listed as parts not working? Yeah, I get that question all the time too. So hopefully with some improvements on the platform, we're going to see a reduction and stuff like that. eBay also revealed that their volume with eBay revealed that the volume with USPS of all packages sent is 10 to 15%. They're actually the number 2 user of USPS globally. It was just an interesting little fact, an interesting little tidbit to put out there. And a lot of us walked away with the same question after that. And we said, why aren't you pushing for some type of discount? Now, we talked again in the past regarding how UPS might be something that's going to be getting utilized on the platform here soon, but we're still waiting for some more information on that. And nothing was mentioned at eBay Open. But as you guys know, I have a little bit more information when it comes to changes coming to the postal world. I can tell you right now that there is going to be some more stuff happening by the end of the year, but I can't go into specifics on it due to NDAs. But I will say this, keep your eyes open. It's going to be a very interesting year for postage. Hello to you, Perth. Good to see you here again. Thank you for the warm messages before the start of the show as well. Up next, we're going to be talking about FFE, Fulfillment by eBay, also known as Managed Delivery. That's one of those things, guys, that acronym, I don't know how accurate that's going to be moving forward, so for now we're going to call it Managed Delivery. Managed Delivery is essentially FBA, but it's going to be on eBay. And if you don't know what that is, if you've ever bought something off of Amazon and it said Prime, it's generally getting shipped from the Amazon warehouse. Now, how do they get their items? Well, people like me and you, we ship them to the warehouse. When somebody buys it, it goes from the warehouse direct to the consumer. Okay, so it's basically a third party to assist, or a second party to assist you in getting your item to the consumer. Now, this is going to be coming to eBay. Devin said himself, it's not for everyone. Okay, it's frankly, it's not even for me. And I'm hoping I can find a way to make it for me, but I don't sell a lot of quantity goods. I wish I did now that this is something that's coming out, because some of the perks sound pretty good. But basically, if you're somebody that has 50, 100, 150, 200 of an item, you can send them all to the eBay warehouse, and then as they sell, eBay will box them up and then send them out. Part of the reasons behind this is we're seeing a bit of a pivot. We're seeing eBay start moving directions and saying, okay, we've kind of lost to Amazon when it comes to working with first-party brands. Okay, Amazon's got it on lock. They've got it sorted out. They know exactly what they're doing. They know how to talk to these brands. They know how to get them first-party. And frankly, they're being a little bit sneaky about how they do it too. And that's something I can talk about later if you'd like. But we're seeing a big change in how eBay is saying, okay, we've lost the race on first party. What are we going to do? Let's head on back. Let's go in and pivot directions again. Let's work harder with our third party sellers, because those are the ones who are going to help keep this thing afloat moving forward. Plus, they're a very, very fantastic marketing tool. We talked previously regarding the eBay boxes. These boxes that they have us send out are a big deal. And he even said it on stage as well. Devin said, these boxes, these eBay boxes, we want every eBay item that goes out to have the eBay brand name on it. We see the marketing power and the marketing value behind it. So it's kind of a good thing. It's kind of crazy. I'm kind of excited about it. Now, the thing is, they said, we don't want to win fast shipping. And they've understand that. They said, we've lost. And being able to pick your battles is very, very important when you're in these types of situations. Say, we have lost that. But where they are going to be able to win this, if they play it smart, is making sure that the sellers have as much power as they need. And one of the things that they talked about is they said that we're going to offer full coverage on your goods once they leave the warehouse. So once it's boxed up and out the door, you're done. That's it. We're going to cover your item for you. We're going to make sure you're good to go. Now, how selective? How selective are they going to be on those items as they come into the warehouse? Time will tell, but I really like the idea of knowing that eBay is going to have us covered. Guys, don't forget you can ask any questions in the comments. Let me take a look at some of these questions. Any talk of adding GSP to managed payments? Well, if it's not available right now, that's a touch odd. So I personally don't use managed payments myself, so I hadn't realized that there was any conflict with GSP and managed payments. But that's certainly something we can get a little more information on for you down the line. But I can't see a reason why eBay wouldn't allow that, because they actually own the managed payments platform and the GSP platform. They own them both. Landshark says, are they offering guaranteed delivery within a certain time frame, or is it independent on your shipping selected on your listings for those items? I have yet to hear anything positive about MPs yet. Has anyone? So I've heard a lot of positive stuff about managed payments, but the problem is I don't feel that we have an accurate data set for that. Like I said, they're using some of the best sellers on the platform, and I don't feel that it's accurate of what the everyday seller would actually be selling on the platform. So we're gonna have to figure that out. And then as far as guaranteed delivery, the guaranteed delivery, that's entirely on your end. So it's one of those things based on how you're setting up your listings and the courier and the option that you select. So make sure you select the one that works best for you. Tamara says, I have a friend who is doing managed delivery and it's working out great for him. He's seeing a 34% increase in sales month over month for the past few months. That is fantastic. So yeah, with managed delivery, it's a beta thing. That's one of those things. It's just starting out right now. Not everyone is able to do it, but yeah, 34% increase in sales is pretty dang fantastic. Let me reread this question with context of FFE. Oh yeah, they have to be. Yeah. So because it's coming direct from warehouse, they're going to be able to offer a more visible express shipping option. And I'm sure that they're handling internally any type of conflict that comes with that, if for late deliveries and stuff to that effect. So what else do we have? Ensuring your first experience is a great experience. So eBay has come to the realization that if we make sure that our customers are happy the first time through, that they're more likely to stick around. We listened to a gentleman by the name of Mohan talk about this in great length, and he was a fantastic presenter as well. But he just basically said that if we can ensure that the customers have a good first experience and that they are able to maybe get a discount on their first pass through, they're able to check out quickly, they're able to check out as a guest, even if they'd like, that it's going to increase the customer experience and increase retention for the life of the customer. On top of that, okay, we also learned that item history is going to be bumped up to 3 years. So what was something that you bought 3 years ago? I can't even remember what I bought 3 years ago, but that's supposed to be getting bumped up here very soon, if not already. You may want to check your item history now. And the reason that they're doing this is so that they can add in the buy again option. So buy again is something that they've talked about for a while, and it's good to see that it's going to be finally coming here in September, but it's going to allow you to go back and have a button just like you would see on Amazon that lets you repurchase the same item again. Now, if you're the seller of that item, it'll redirect them back to your item. If you're not the seller, or if you no longer have any more of that item, it's going to redirect them to a different item of the same type but from a different seller. The idea is to increase repeat business and increase overall conversion on the platform. The reason why that they're doing this too, and they used a word that I never thought I would hear eBay use, is the word subscription. They said that they want to try and create some type of subscription models for specific sellers on specific items that could benefit from a subscription model. So if you're somebody who's selling a consumable good, this is something that can definitely benefit you moving forward. Adam Exploit says GSP will be added to manage payments. However, they don't have a date yet. Pitney Bowes manages it for eBay. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I talked with one of the promoted listings people, and they told me that GSP was in-house. So I know Pitney Bowes can certainly manage it, but I believe it's an eBay-owned brand. And Donna, they didn't give any color on that, but I'm doubting it. Frankly, I'm doubting that we'll see sold items being information being held for 3 years. I know that they did do some expansion on it because of tax purposes. I think you can go back almost a whole year now, maybe even a little bit longer, but I can get you more information on that moving forward. And Adam, it was very nice meeting you out at eBay Open. I wish we could have gotten the chance to sit down and have a meal together. I got to sit down with a few people, but I know you were running around like mad as well. So the subscription option, I think it's going to be a fantastic thing that we're going to be seeing coming soon. I think a lot of people are going to be able to make a lot of money on it. And I would say if you can, try and find a way to be able to position yourself to be able to benefit from that moving forward. We talked too about enhancements to search as well. We got a lot of information regarding the sidebar on search and how that actually works. Now, we talked about item specifics earlier, and I said if you plug in the correct item specifics, you're going to be included within certain searches, but the opposite of that is also true as well. So if you have a pair of blue jeans and you're missing the cut, let's say it's a boot cut pair of jeans, and someone selects that they want to see boot cut, even if it says in the title of your item, it says boot cut, guess what? Your item will not show up. Okay, so making sure that you have the correct item specifics, because it's all about driving the consumer to the correct item, will make sure that you stay included within the search. Don't skimp out. I must stress this. An extra 60 seconds while you're listing could mean the difference between your item selling this week or your item selling this year. Okay, I'm going to be investing the time into every single one of my listings with the hopes that it'll start increasing my velocity as well. They said that somewhere in the area of about 40% of buyers, especially when it comes to fashion goods, are using that side search. So if you aren't using your specifics, you're missing out on 40% of the buyer pool. Yes, tag type search. That's what KeyWebco said. I agree completely. On top of that, they're working on a new social experience, and it kind of works like a Facebook feed. So if you're somebody who enjoys buying things like comics or cosmetics or anything that has a bit of a culture to it, could be video games as well, you're going to be able to save your search in a whole new way. You're going to have a sidebar pop out where you're going to be able to see what essentially looks like a Facebook news feed. It's going to include items. It's going to include sellers. It's going to include news articles. Like, if you're doing video games, it might be from Polygon or Kotaku. And they really want to make it visually appealing, again, to that millennial audience. The audience who's used to scrolling and flipping through stuff, and they want to be able to drive more consumers to that type of experience. Jay, the specific word would need to be in the description to be recognized. No, actually. Putting the word or the style or the cut in your title, in your description, in your item condition, it will do nothing for you. It must be within the item specifics. Believe it or not, let's say the example that they used quite often was an A-line style women's dress. And the title of the listing did not say A-line. The body of the listing, the actual description, did not say A-line, but the style on the sidebar said A-line. Okay, that was the option that was selected for the style of the dress. That dress showed up number 2 in search when searching for an A-line dress, even though it wasn't in the title. And next week's show, we're going to be breaking down the Google and the eBay statements regarding search and title. It's going to be a very, very valuable show that you're going to want to watch. But we're going to add a lot more information on that. So I can't stress this enough. Priority is really, really leaning on item specifics for your listings moving forward, especially with the changes to Google's algorithm. So like I said, next week we're going to be going even deeper into that. Today we're just kind of giving a broad overview of the opening presentation. But if you have more questions on that, don't be afraid to ask them. I'll be happy to answer them. Okay, so another thing that they talked about too when it comes to increasing the flow of your listings is that they mentioned aspect extraction. So when you're talking about what you're doing right now, Callie, and you said you make your title for your listing, aspect extraction is going to be a bit of AI that's actually going to pull the relevant details from that title and suggest them to you as item specifics. So with our example of blue jeans, if you listed some Calvin Klein blue jeans, men's size 54 boot cut jeans, it's going to extract the elements from that. And it's going to recommend the brand Calvin Klein. It's going to recommend the style, boot cut. It's going to recommend the size 54. And all you're going to have to do is go click, 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 and it'll plug in all of those. And that lightning bolt that we mentioned earlier will go ahead and fill all the way up. So having a robust title is going to be important, but we're going to be talking about title structure, like I said, next week. And you're going to see how utilizing the two together is going to help you out a lot. This change, believe it or not, as far as aspect extraction, will be available within the next week and a half across all platforms. So we're talking the mobile experience as well as the PC experience too. On top of that, we saw integration of Terapeak getting a little bit more plugged in with eBay. Those of you who don't know, eBay purchased Terapeak something like a year ago. And we started getting access and utilization about 3 months ago. So if you go to the Terapeak website right now, you can log in using your eBay account, but we finally started to see a little bit more integration within the research tab on eBay. And if you actually click there and you punch in your item information, you're going to get some very valuable feedback. One, you're going to get suggestions on your title, which is very interesting. I plan to do a little bit more research and see how good that is, but we're also going to be able to see historic pricing going back up to a year. And this type of historic pricing can be very valuable when it comes to trying to figure out exactly what to price your items for, especially when that data isn't available. Now, as long as you don't have the very, very basic store, this is going to be something that's going to be free for you. But it's pretty great that you no longer have to leave eBay to be able to utilize this. Do you have to have PPC to be found in search? I do not know what you mean by PPC. So you're going to have to give me a little bit of clarification on that. Notice the suggestion last night, it's happening. No clue what you're talking about either. But yeah, give me some clarity on what you mean there, and I'll get that answered right now. Oh, okay. CPP. Cost per click. Or what is it? Hold on. Let me make sure I get this correct. It's not CPP. It's, CPP. Yeah, cost per placement. I think that's what it is. I'll get some, I'll make sure I'm right on that. I'm not 100%. Okay. Do you have to use it to be found in search? No, you never have to use it. You don't have to use any of the paid stuff. I'll be honest with you. Utilizing item specifics correctly is probably going to be better than probably even a 5% promoted listing, to be completely frank, because eBay wants the consumer to find the right item. Ultimately, that's how they get paid. They only get paid when people buy stuff, realistically speaking. So yeah, And I don't know if it's cost per click or if it's cost per placement, because those are two wildly different things. We'll make sure that we get it absolutely correct on the next one that's coming up. Okay. So as I was saying, with Terapeak, it's going to be free as long as you have more than a basic store, and you're not even going to have to leave eBay to do it. Another one of the things that they changed was how you take photos, and I think this was a little bit of an eye-opener to me, that so many people were amazed by this. You're going to have the ability to be able to remove the background on your photos now. So let's say I have, this wallet and I'm taking a picture of it and I got it against a wall and I snap my photo. With the new tool that they have in place, I'll be able to just dump that background from it and it'll just become white. It'll be an outline of the item. Kind of think of how things look like on Ruby Lane. Okay, so it's going to be a perfectly white background. They're using AI to be able to pull this off. I heard a lady ask a question or get up in front of the mic, and she talked about how this was going to revolutionize, it's going to change her business forever. And I just thought to myself, how is this possible? And I don't mean to beat up on anyone, but you can essentially get the same exact effect for under $100. Okay, you can get two lights pointing in opposite directions, just like I have two lights shining on me right now, and a perfectly white background. Okay, and then you just take your picture in front of it, and then boom, you're done. And I don't understand how a $100 setup was the reason why you don't have gorgeous photos online. I understand, it's going to take up a little bit of space, but if you can afford to be at eBay Open, you should know how to take good photos by now. So when people were just cheering and blown away, it was a little bit confusing to me. Now, here's the thing, though. For brand new sellers, this is a huge deal. Okay, for people who are just starting, people who don't have nice photo setups, people who don't have $100 or $150 to invest into something like this, this is fantastic news. But for people who are at eBay Open, this shouldn't have even been a ripple for you. This shouldn't have even been a blip on your radar. But the crowd erupted with the idea that they're going to be able to take backgroundless photos. And that's something, you can even download an app right now that does the exact same thing. I think it's $10, and it'll do the exact same thing for you. Beth says, I think it would be great if you want to post something when you aren't home. So I've never had anything where I've so urgently wanted to get it listed online that I couldn't wait till I got back. Now, maybe like an event that I'd go to, some type of collector's item at an event, I could certainly see that. Or if you got you just bought 100 of something, you want to start the listing process as quickly as possible. Certainly, I'll give you the nod for that. But yeah, Pam says, have you seen the photos on eBay? Some of them are pretty bad. Yeah, here's the thing though. Okay, there is thousands of tutorials online that show you how to take great photos. I personally haven't even made one yet because I didn't even think it was that important. I felt my time would be better spent teaching people other things. But now I don't even think I'm going to need to make it. I'll make a tutorial on how to use the background removal or something to that effect because I saw some issues with redundancy that are going to need some clarity for some people, but I don't know. I'm not blown away. I'm an everyday seller. It's not blowing my mind. You should have a $100 photo set up at this point. It's not, you don't even have to get a $100 one. You can get, Daniel uses a little white box. It's like a $15 LED setup that he got shipped to him. So, and he gets gorgeous white background photos with that thing. Okay, on top of that, they also mentioned the introduction of more jobs here domestically, which is great. 450 domestic jobs, call center jobs. And I'll tell you right now, a majority of those are for receiving inbound buyer customer service related issues. We also saw 350 new jobs that are work from home positions as well, landing here in America. Anytime there's a chance for 800 new jobs here in America, it's a fantastic thing. Guys, I've been talking for an hour and a half straight. Excuse me. So, seeing 800 new jobs coming to America is a great thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Buyers and sellers alike enjoy being able to work with people of their own home country when they call in for assistance. There's just something about it. You know, when I'm giving up sensitive account information, I just really like to know that I'm doing it here in America. And when you have a bad customer experience, let's say somebody bought something from your store, just something didn't pan out right. Maybe it was customer service for some reason, or the item got damaged in delivery, or the color was wrong. If the customer is already upset, and then they have to call in and talk with somebody that they can barely understand, and this isn't a slight, but if they can barely understand the customer, it's only going to make the whole experience of buying on eBay worse for them. You're going to be more likely to get a negative feedback because of it. So having more domestic customer service reps is something that I'm very, very happy about, and I'm very frankly pleased that they mentioned that as well. We're also seeing a new flow for returns. We have a brand new Seller Hub experience coming to the back end as well. This new flow is going to make it so that way you're going to be able to see all of your returns in one place. This has been a point of frustration for me for a long time, having to click all over the site to be able to see my inbound returns, outbound returns, everything. You're now all going to be able to see it all in one place. This is going to be coming to the platform by October. Okay, so your Seller Hub is going to be comprised of a handful of things. One, managing all of your returns, every one of them, which is great. Just going to one place. And on top of that, it's going to be ordered by priority. So the most important things are going to be at the top, the ones that need to get taken care of right away, and then it's going to work down. The next category over is going to be where you get to now report negative feedbacks for removal. Not only are you going to be able to select them, you can select the reason, but you can also add commentary as to why you feel it should be removed. Again, reducing the amount of time that we have to spend calling eBay. Less time on the phone means more money in our pockets. On top of that, and I understand how big of a deal that is. I'm just running low on energy, guys. The next one is we're going to be able to talk about and report defects on the account. Now, finding defects on your account right now is so tricky. I frankly don't even know where to go to see my defects, nor do I even care enough to start appealing them. But I'm going to have to here soon. I need to get my TRS back. I believe it's part of the concierge trade-off. So I'm going to have to deal with some defects and get those sorted out too. But being able to have them all in one place is going to be great. On top of that, you're also going to have another tab for reporting buyers. It's going to be easier than ever to be able to report buyers. And what else? What's the other one? Defects, negatives, report buyers. Yeah, that's it for that on the seller. I could have sworn there was one more thing. But yeah, so that's it for the back end on the Seller Hub for the enhancements that they're making. And then on top of that, have you guys ever had a listing just pulled off of eBay? You know how frustrating that is when they just yank a listing? You can't even make the correction and then relisting it. Well, they said coming in October, they're going to do a new thing where they're going to be able to hide the listing. Rather than delete it, they're just going to hide it, and then you'll have the opportunity to go in there and appeal it or go in there and adjust the listing and then be able to have the listing show back up online again. Again, a big time saver, something that should have been done a long time ago. And then here's the last part of it all. The last thing that everyone needs to know from this opening presentation is now eBay is rolling out financial protections for sellers. Thank you to MCalvi3 for subscribing to the channel. We appreciate it. So they're offering financial protections for you as a seller. Because here's the thing. eBay's saying, okay, we understand. We're going to do our best to make sure that people aren't horrible people and try and jam returns on you and stick you with the return shipping costs, but we get it. Some people are really, really scummy and they're still going to stick it to you. So we're going to make you a deal. Okay, here's how the deal works. You do everything that you're supposed to do as a seller and offer a 30-day return. It doesn't have to be a free return, but offer a 30-day return. And you know what we're going to do for you? Okay. If you get a false INAD, item not as described claim, we're going to go ahead and credit you for that. We're going to go and take care of the cost that's incurred by that. And I'll tell you what, if you've done everything right still, and you get a damaged return sent back to you, we're going to go ahead and let you issue a partial refund as well. That's pretty dang fancy. I'll be completely honest with you guys. That level of protection is something that I'm really, really looking forward to. And then coming in October, you're going to start getting emails regarding that as well. So you'll be able to see at the end of each month how much money you have saved, how many negative and neutral feedbacks have been removed from your account. You're going to be getting a more robust email that's going to give you all the information that you need as a business owner doing e-commerce on eBay. Guys, that was our presentation for the eBay opening ceremony discussion with Devin Wenig. We're going to be doing a follow-up video simply because I have all of these slides. I took so many pictures. And we're going to add a little more clarity on some of this stuff and have a little more visual aid. So if you missed part of this, you can go ahead and wait for that next one. I see Pam has dropped a bit of information on screen right there. Now, if you don't know, okay, our show is Patreon funded, which means that people like you who are watching at home are the ones that help keep us on air. This show is very expensive to produce because it takes me over 20 hours each and every week to be able to make one of these shows. And this week, I probably spent closer to 40 because I had to drive to Vegas, took 4.5 hours each direction, and frankly, sit through some really boring presentations to get you some information in a fun-ish, entertaining way. So if you haven't considered supporting the show yet, please do. You also get a free Prairie Grid account okay, just for signing up as a patron, and that pretty much pays for the whole thing. But you get thank you cards, you get 24/7 access to group chat, you get a ton of other perks as well. Visit patreon.com/Bolorama. It is seriously worth it. If you're one of those people that you kind of get lonely and you just want to talk to people about items, you want to say, hey, check out this cool item I got. And, like maybe your friends and family are really bored of hearing about it and you just want to talk with other resellers, come join our group chat. It's really friendly. That's pretty much what we do all day. We just talk about being resellers. So if you're one of those people like us and you want to be a part of that community, come check it out. Thank you to Prairie Grit as well for being continued sponsors of the show, helping make this possible. Their affiliation with us helps us out monetarily as well. This is how we keep everything on air. We have our Patreon, which helps immensely. We have our super chats, and then we have our affiliate deals. And with that being said, though, we have one more affiliate. Now, we talked about this on one of our shows, but we didn't give a full, robust explanation as to who they are and what they do. So if you missed the interview with Riken on a couple of days ago, you're definitely going to want to go back and check that out. But we talked about 360 ID tag, okay? And yeah, Key Webco, that is great with Prairie Grit. Apparently, 2 people don't like Prairie Grit. We got a couple more dislikes. I don't understand what people's defect is. I kind of feel bad for people who dislike videos. It's frankly pathetic. But yeah, so we also talk with 360 ID tag. Now, this is a company that we mentioned on the show a while ago, like a long while ago, maybe 3-4 months ago. We reached out to them and we said, hey, I kind of like the idea of this product. Can we do something together? And they said, yes, we can. We can make something happen. And they actually sent me out a sample because I wanted to be able to show you what it was and kind of give you an idea of how it works. But they gave me some information, okay? Have you ever sold something and you kind of been worried that somebody was going to scam you? Whether it be them switch the item out with a counterfeit one, or they call it wardrobing, where they're just going to wear the item for one night and then return it back to you, which is something that I think we've dealt with. Or have you ever sold an item and looked at the buyer and said, man, I'm kind of worried. This person's a little bit sketchy. I'm kind of worried about doing business with them, and I'm not exactly sure how to proceed. Well, the 360 ID tag is a new means of being able to protect your items and pretty much offer an anti-wear security tag. So they sent me out a demo. So, and we're also doing a giveaway. I don't want you to think that I'm just like keeping all of this for myself, but this is basically how the packaging comes. And this is one of the thin bands. Now this is a flexible, it's like paper, but it's also like a ribbon, but it's very strong. I don't think I could rip this even if I tried. Like it's yeah, no, I can't rip that, and I'm pulling hard. You guys have seen me destroy poly bags before. But they send you out this, and then you also get these security tags, okay? So if you're selling clothing, now here's the thing. It's not going to be for every piece of clothing you have, okay? I'm just going to say that first and foremost. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use it on your, like a piece of clothing that might be, I'd probably use them for like $60 and up. And if you're wondering like how much does it cost to actually put one of these on a piece of clothing, you're probably looking anywhere, I don't know, like a quarter to 50 cents an item, which can seem expensive. So here's how it basically works. So I have one strung up here, and you can see we have the 360 tag running through the sleeve and then out through the front. So what it allows me to do is if I want, I can still put the item on. I can wear the item, I can test it, I can see how it fits on me, okay? Even with the paper tag running through it. And that's the whole idea. We want people to be able to try stuff on, okay? But we don't want them wearing it out to a party, tucking the tag under the bra or under the collar, trying on the item for 2-3 days, and then returning it back and saying, oh, I didn't like the color. Okay? So what happens here is it's really embarrassing to wear something like this out. It also acts as like a visible deterrent as well. So basically you run the fabric through, and then you put this on there. You put this little anchor thing on the end. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, Jay, can't just somebody open this up? Well, it's actually kind of cool because when you open this up, what ends up happening is, I even tried doing this very slowly. Like, you can unfold it, but the moment you actually take this tag off, forgive my long nails, look what happens. It says void on it once you peel it off. And it'll do that on either end of the tag. So you can tell immediately when somebody's tampered with it. And it even says here on the tag, it says, returns accepted only if 360 ID tag remains attached. And on top of that, each one of these tags has a serial number on it. So you can actually log the numbers. You can do it with your listings. I would personally put these on as I'm listing an item. So that way it acts as a visible deterrent. And you're going to want to do it in a way so that way somebody wouldn't want to wear it out. So the only way to remove it is either by destroying it or by breaking the seal on it. And then I saw another really cool application, which was kind of neat. I saw it on their website. It's to run it around a pair of glasses. Now, Miguel, I know you sell a whole bunch of eyewear, so being able to take something like this, and they didn't ask us to do this demo either. We're not getting paid to do this demo. We're just doing this kindness of our heart. But they had a demo where they had it wrapped around the center of a pair of glasses. Now, obviously, somebody can still try the glasses on and see how they look on them, but they're not going to want to wear this out in public, okay? And here's the thing. Roger's saying to write it down, but I'm saying if you do it while you're listing, you can have the picture within the original listing. And all of the serial numbers are unique. So here's what we're doing, guys. We're doing a giveaway, okay? We haven't set the specifics yet. It's only going to be on Instagram, okay? We have a brand new box, and this isn't cheap either, okay? This is a $45 value. This is the thick one, okay? Because they have a thick roll and a thin roll. And look how thick this is. And this is robust material. This is not cheap at all, okay? And then you get the roll of stickers with it as well. We're giving this out on Instagram, okay? So follow us on Instagram here. I'll put up the information right now, or I'll try to anyways. I don't even know if my buttons are working right now. There it is. Okay, so visit us on Instagram, and you can enter for a chance to win this. We haven't figured out exactly what we're going to do. It's probably going to be like one of those like, share, follow type things. But you can win this along with the seals. I think it's an interesting product, personally. I'm going to use the ones that I got. That's for darn sure. But like I said, you're not going to use them all the time. But wouldn't it be better to have something like that than not? But yeah. And also, on top of that, I just want to say, it's not going to damage the clothing either. It's like fabric. So you're not going to have to worry about ink transfer or abrasion or anything like that. So I just wanted to, again, thank them for that. We didn't get an opportunity to really talk about them and all of that during the original production. So it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing to go check out. Again, thank you to our patrons. Check out our Patreon if you haven't done so yet. Let's get back over to our main screen. Do I have a main screen anymore? I think that's my main screen. Guys, I'm exhausted. That was a big old presentation. Can't you sell them in your store? I don't know what you mean. Like the actual item that they sent me? No, we're gonna give it away. So, guys, I really don't have much else to talk about this evening. I was kind of going to showcase some of the items that I picked up while I was at eBay Open. Maybe mention some of the other stuff that happened there. I'm going to be winding down for sure. If you were here just for the information, thank you for being here. If you're here just to hang out from here out, you're welcome to stick around for a few minutes longer. I picked up just a couple of bags of swag while I was out there. And swag is an acronym for stuff we all get. It's just basically a thing that we talk about. I frankly don't want any of this stuff. The only thing I wanted was these glasses that they gave us. These are actually really nice quality, which I wasn't expecting. They say eBay Open on them. Very, very cool pair of shades. Sorry about the focus, guys. I can't do much about that. But they say eBay Open on them, and they're actually pretty flippin' decent. I went at them with a t-shirt, and they didn't scratch up the lenses or anything like that, so I'm very, very pleased about that. We also got this. So if any of you guys want anything that I'm showing right now, just let me know. I'll be happy to do that. Roger, I still don't know what you're talking about. We met up with the people over at Chubb, too. Remember how I was making fun of Chubb, the insurance, and the way that their thing was worked out? I ended up bumping into a couple of the associates from there, and I said, hey, we're doing a Thursday night shoot. You should come up. It'll be a good time. They declined my invitation. Very unfortunate, too, because I was very, very friendly with them. So, yeah. We talk with them, though. I have my attendee pass. And they also use this as a means of keeping track who got a t-shirt and who got to spin the wheel. You know, something that's really strange? There were so many people that waited in line to spin this wheel. And I guess one of the best prizes was either like $25 or a $50 gift card. But there was people that were waiting like 30 or 40 minutes to spin a wheel to have like a 15% chance at winning a prize. I couldn't do that. I waited and waited and waited, and then one day I showed up. And there's maybe 4 or 5 people at the front of the line. It was a 2-minute line to get to the front. And that's the one and only time that I did it. And the guy even said, he's like, oh, you didn't do the other days. You can get to the back and do it again. I looked behind me. There were 6 people there. I said, no, I'm good. I'm like, I got networking to do. I got questions to go ask eBay people. Roger says they should send you some to sell, quote unquote, affiliate. Yes, that link that was on screen and in the description is an affiliate link. So if you go visit that link, we do get a small percentage of the final sale. It's not much. To be frank with you, I really like the item and I would like to help the company. Anything that can safeguard them is a good thing. So we're receiving like that much off of it. I would frankly prefer if somebody super chatted me $2 instead of going and buying one of their tags. I say only go buy the item if it's actually going to benefit you. Don't go buy it because you think you're helping me. But if you can use some security on your clothing, go buy the item. What else did we get? Guys, oh, this was cool. We're actually talking with Scotch Brand here this week. They have this brand new product. And this stuff is expensive. Really, really expensive. But what they were able to do and show was pretty darn amazing. So this is a brand new product that they just had come out. And it's a self-adhesive product. Give me a moment. I'm trying to separate this thing right now. And this is something that you're going to start seeing in stores here soon. Am I destroying this? I think I'm destroying this. Yep, I was separating it wrong. So how this works, and I'm only going to be able to do this one time, is we have this material. And this is how it's going to come. It's going to come in a giant roll with this gray sign. You see how I'm touching this? Okay. Nothing is sticking to it. Okay. If I stick an item to it, nothing sticks to it either. Okay. It's non-adhesive. Okay. But if I take an item just like this and I wrap it and I touch the gray side to the gray side, okay, guess what? It sticks. It only sticks to itself. So if I wanted to pack up something and I wanted to seal it in there like that, that's sealed, okay? That's not comfortably coming open. Look at this. It's not even separating correctly. That is in there, okay? So this is a new item that they have coming out. I believe you can get it at some stores right now. But the whole idea is that you can cut and trim your packages to fit and not have any product waste, which I think is pretty interesting. So even though one giant roll of this, I believe, was $200, okay? It's very expensive. It's supposedly cheaper than buying missized bubble rolls. So this is a cool item. And then to get your item out, you're obvious, like, I don't think I can peel this back to get this item out. It is seriously stuck in there. Yeah, it's in there. It just separated the layers. So, but I guess when the consumer gets it, they would just do this. They would cut it open, and then they can get their item out. Cool. Cool piece, guys. Definitely something to keep your eyes open for. We're talking with them about getting some samples and possibly doing some collaborative work with them. I think it would be great to work with 3M. We got this really cute notebook from Street Pricer. You're going to see a bunch of stuff from Street Pricer. Really, really great company. They're actually an eBay repricing company. We're going into discussions with them as well as far as what we could do together, but I'm not sure if it's going to be for everyone. Their pricing model seems a touch aggressive for what they're actually offering, and I don't think it's going to be too beneficial for small sellers, but for larger sellers there could be value. And when I was talking with these different vendors too, I told them the key thing is that I don't really want to talk about a product unless it'll actually benefit the people who are watching and learning from what I do. So the ability to reprice on eBay up and down, it's going to be interesting, but I'm going to play around with it first before it's something that I bring to anyone else because I'm not sure if it's going to be a perfect fit just yet. We got a bunch of sticky pads from them. Contact information for Pitney Bowes. We're going to try and build a working relationship with Pitney Bowes now that our relationship with Pirate Ship has come to an end. So we're going to see what we can do. I mean, we're not going to have much power as far as shipping prices, but we're going to try and work something out. 3M has it, and it was $230. Yep, it's a little bit expensive. We got some information from Seller Cloud and Channel Advisor. Like I said, I'm just going through everything that I picked up while I was at Open, just because I really don't have the energy to do more news right now, so we're just going to be looking at nonsense. We talked with the people over at SKU Vault, really interesting company. We're going to have to get more details from them too. eBay Open branded SPF 30 sunscreen. I don't know why they included that, but I guess a bunch of people were out at the pool, so that was a thing. Chubb with the oddest branding play ever. These are mints. I don't understand why that's a thing. 27,000 mink. I will pay the tags. Cool. eBay Open chapstick. Again, another oddball item. I wonder if it's any good though. You know, we should probably find out. And I was even tempted. I'm like, I wonder how much I could sell all this stuff for online. So that's another thing too. People were asking me like, hey Jay, is this scentless? Do they really make a scentless one? I've had that exact chapstick before. It's a rebrand. It's decent quality. I would say it's a mid-tier one. I don't want this shirt. So if for some reason you're interested in this, let me know. Yeah, I'm never going to wear this ever. And then some people were obsessed with pins. And I'm not trying to yuck up anyone's yum, but there were some people that were like all about getting pins and then attaching them to their lanyard, and it made no sense to me at all. Oh, and then I got this one. This is what I won from the prize wheel. A pin that said Win City on eBay. Makes no sense at all. Do a giveaway with the shirt. Somebody asked what the size was. It is a large. It's cut like an XL, so it's absurdly boxy. It's Gildan, which means it's probably going to shrink up as well. So it's probably going to be large-ish, but ride up on your gut. So if you're overweight, then I wouldn't recommend it. Easy Post. I got a fabric coaster. Lovely. And then I also stole this too. Bon Maman. Some type of honey. Yeah. They had honey next to the coffee station and in little glass jars. And I told myself, I'm totally going to boost this and I'm going to enjoy some honey later. What else do we got? That might be... Oh, we got another t-shirt. I don't even know who this t-shirt's for. Now, this is a nice shirt. This is a Street Pricer again. This is a premium shirt. This is a heavy, heavy shirt. Sport Age Australia. Oh, yeah, that's right. They're an Australian-based company. This is really nice. These have to cost a solid, God, $14 wholesale each at least. That is really, really nice quality. I'm going to keep that. That's a keeper. It's probably one of the nicest free shirts I've ever gotten in my life. Guys, that's all the items that I have from eBay Open. Let me see what else we have on our docket for today. Like I said, we're going to keep today a little bit simple. Man, did I have a good time. Let's go to move into story time. Man, did I have a good time out there at eBay Open. We had a little bit of chaos at the beginning of the trip. It took 4.5 hours to get checked into my room after doing a 4.5 hour drive just to get to Vegas. But it wasn't the worst thing in the world. I utilized some of that time to do some networking and rub shoulders with some other people, and it was great. I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers who decided to come check out our channel. I know a bunch of you came in from eBay Open. I know a bunch of you came across because of Reich and Profit, and I want to thank you for being here with me this evening. It's been fantastic to see a little bit of extra channel growth after all the effort that we put in. Also, thank you to all the people who came up to me and said hello, and to the people who took pictures with me. That was a very unique experience, and it made me feel very special that you would want to stop and talk and save a memory of our experience together. So thank you to all of those people. It was great getting to meet so many of you, especially some of the other creators on the platform as well. I got to meet Shane with Rise and Grind. I got to meet Adam Freights with Adam's Exploits. I got to meet Bearded Picker. I got to meet Reich and Profits, of course, but I got to just meet some really, really great personalities, and then even Reichen's videographer, I believe Alex is the name. Yeah, fantastic, great guy. So it was great being able to meet so many of you and get to experience so many new things at eBay Open. And obviously, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for this community that we have here now. It's been a wonderful ride, and I'll tell you, I learned a lot this year, and I truly do hope that you all choose me as your ambassador for next year when I hope to go back again, as long as everything keeps going the direction that it's going now. Now, On top of that, oh yeah, I also got to meet Jeannie, who ended up winning third place for the Shine Award. She got the Platinum Award, $10,000 for her charity glass slippers. If you haven't seen that interview, I strongly recommend going and checking it out. It's Zach, excuse me. I don't know why I keep confusing the names Zach and Alex. I apologize. Um, just happened to find you live checking eBay Open tweets. Fantastic, Greg. I'm happy to hear that. Happy to have you on our channel, have you checking out what we do. So last week, guys, before we closed out the show, we talked about the importance of making sure that you turn over every single stone. We talked about how just asking a few extra questions and being a little bit more persistent at times can get you a pretty powerful result in whatever you're doing. And in that one, we were talking in context of doing estate sale clearouts and how I was able to turn just a casual encounter of meeting a yard seller and be able to turn it into an opportunity to make several $1,000 for free. So turning over those stones is very, very important. And this week, I want to talk with you guys about not being afraid. I have a confession, and a big one at that, because when I come on air and I speak with you, I try to exude a certain level of confidence and a certain level of authority in what I'm doing, but I'll be completely honest. Going to eBay Open this year was a horrifying experience for me, and I don't understand why. I'm 34 years of age, and I've even lived in Vegas before, but there were so many variables that made me borderline afraid to go, even to the point where the night before I was thinking to myself, how do I get out of this? How do I not go without upsetting so many people? The anxiety was just almost overwhelming for me because I had to figure out how I was going to get there, how I was going to park. Was my vehicle going to even make it there? My car has 150,000 miles on it. I'm like, am I going to get stranded in the desert? Did I bring all the equipment that I was going to need? Is the studio going to work? Am I going to have people to put in the studio? What happens if I miss my registration window? All of these variables that were going on through my head. And I was frankly very, very worried that I was going to let everyone down because there was a lot riding on my shoulders. And unlike some of the other people who went, I was going solo. I mean, I had you guys in my pocket, but that little interview that you saw, or the hour and a half or 2 hours worth of interview total, it was over 2 hours to set up that studio and 2 hours to tear it down. And, making sure that we had guests for it, there was a lot of variables that I didn't have full control over. But I want to tell you now, having experienced it, I wouldn't undo it. I loved it. It was a fantastic experience, and I'm looking forward to going back next year. So I just want to leave everyone with that even though sometimes things can seem incredibly difficult or frankly impossible, and you might be up against some of the hardest odds that you can imagine, just go for it, because you're really better off trying and failing versus not even trying at all. And it's the first time in a long time that I've felt that unsure about something. But I know coming into next year that I'm going to be able to do even better than this year. I know what type of equipment to bring. I know who to speak to try and get media coverage passes. I know what needs to happen to be able to offer you an even better presentation than I did this year. So that being said, guys, this has been the Sunday Reseller Roundup for July 28th, 2019. I really do hope that you grab some great tidbits of information, you take a moment and you share this video around with some other people. It really does help us out. Check out our Patreon as well. Check out all that other good stuff. If you have any questions, I'm going to give you one more second to leave any questions down below, and we'll go ahead and take those. And then if not, we're going to go ahead and bounce off air so that way I can start winding down for the evening, get a shower in, and, start relaxing. Because I'll be honest, I haven't decompressed from eBay Open yet. I came home, immediately unpacked everything, immediately rebuilt the studio. I spent all day yesterday working, editing photos, getting groceries, catching up on everything that needed to get caught up on. You're out of town for 4 days. I have 2 eBay stores, an Amazon store, and a Prairie Grit store. I have a lot of stuff to manage, not to mention all my local emails and everything that I missed. So much that had to get done. And then today, I spent all day preparing everything that needed to get prepared for the show. I have had zero decompress time. So this is your last chance, guys, if you have any questions. And you know what, Roger? I would love to do meetups, But frankly, this year there just was not enough demand to justify doing a meetup. I had a couple of people that wanted to see me, and we simply couldn't cross paths. And, with the way that everything's set up, it's so tricky to get more than one or two people in the same place at the same time because we're all there for work. We're all there to get the same thing accomplished. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, this has been the Sunday Reseller Roundup for July 28th, 2019. It's been our eBay Open special. It's been a fantastic time. And guess what? I still didn't have time to redo the outro. Those of you who are tuning in for the first time, we do a very, very unique outro here on this show. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit of a place for me to express myself and make something a little bit odd. So that's what it is. We might get to part 10. We might not. It's just a project that I need to make the time for. And thank you to all the fine compliments. Again, appreciate you, Donna, for the $20 super chat this evening, as well as our new patron coming on board as well. Everyone, thank you. Have a wonderful night. And remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. See you real soon. Man, oh man, was that a heck of a show that we just had. And I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, Jay, you were just here a second ago. You said you were going to roll the outro and we're still talking. Why are we still talking if you said you were going to do the outro? Because this is the outro. And you didn't even realize it. Yeah, I know. Things don't always seem as they appear, but I thought I would make a little gaff of it, have a little bit of fun. So just like with the last one, 10 revisions. This is
number 9
of 10 that you're going to be seeing over the next 10 weeks. We've been doing this forever now. So I guess we'll start out as always and say thank you to our base level patrons. Thank you to all of you for supporting the show for so long. Some of you guys have been around forever. I truly appreciate that. And then I also want to give a thank you to our premium level patrons, those of you who have been contributing even more to help keep us on air. Thank you to all of you as well. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Obviously, there's no green screen, but we're going to have a whole lot of fun with this. And lastly, we have our premium tier patrons, which I don't think we have any as of now. Well, if we do, place some right there, but I don't think we do. So thank you so much for watching. And just remember, your guys' continued support is what keeps me on air and keeps me working hard and keeps me digging up the truth. So that way we can all grow smarter and financially proficient together. That's about it. Have a great day. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Completely. Yep. No, I told him the same thing. I told him. I'm like, just because you think it works doesn't mean that it actually works. Oh yeah, no. I'm totally aware. Has a huge subscriber base. Plenty of people watch his content. That's just the state of YouTube right now. You can't run around just making up stuff and telling people that it works. It's 2019. You have to be able to provide some type of evidence or proof for what you're saying. Otherwise, it's just a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors.